All right.
We're recording. Oh, what a pleasure and a privilege to be sitting here with you, Jarrett. So this is going to be a video to share with people what Jarrett and I are up to. My name is Jamie Black. I'm the founder of Wildcraft Play. And in a moment, I'm going to invite you, Jarrett, to share a little bit about yourself. And I wanted to put it out there because there's been a lot of conversations lately that people are really needing support with how to get their kids off screens or how to get them outside in a way that maybe doesn't take so much energy or maybe overcomes fears. I'm not quite sure. And today, this whole conversation is just us sort of unpacking what is going on right now in this time of COVID and how can we experienced outdoor educators support families to help their kids get outside. So before I pass it over, I just want to acknowledge that I'm sitting on Comox territory here, what people know as the Courtney Comox area on Vancouver Island in the beautiful British Columbia in Canada. So if you're watching this from somewhere else and you've never heard of this, it's okay. People do live here. We're out in the boonies and it's beautiful and we're very, very blessed to be in this beautiful space. So Jarrett, yeah, if you want to take a minute to share who you are and what you do and if you feel like diving right into why you're here, and when I asked to do a little interview with you, what you were called to share with the world in this way.
I'd love to. Thanks, Jamie. Thanks for introducing us and starting this this recording and this presentation. My name is Jarrett Krentzel. I'm the founder and director of Hand in Hand Nature Education. We work with early year children, 2 to 5 years old, and we also work with elementary and high school age children. We're playing in the forest, we're playing on the beach, we're integrating the BC curriculum with our programs, and we're just having a lot of fun doing it in all weather, sun, rain, snow, minus wind when there's a high wind warning in effect. We do go inside or in an open field where there isn't the risk of limbs falling, but for the most part, we are learning and playing outside for the entire time. I have about 20 plus years experience in environmental education and outdoor learning, from preschool age all the way up to university. I've taught in the Yukon, throughout BC, Oregon, California, New York, and currently I'm in the Comox Valley teaching in Courtney, Comox, and Campbell River. I met Jamie, oh gosh, I don't know how long ago, but it does feel like a while now, several years ago, because we're in the same field of nature education, and so our paths were just naturally going to cross. And when they did, we took an immediate liking to each other and an affinity for the work that we're both doing and sharing with the community. And here we are so many years later, still figuring out how we can offer support, how we can offer resources, what can we do to help you and your families get outside more. Yeah, Jamie asked me to be a part of this because much like Jamie, she and I have had many years of experience not only teaching outdoor education, but also being a student in trainings and in schooling, and also just a student in our own practice in just experiencing the outdoors at a personal level, you know, in addition to a professional level, whether it's going out on our own, hiking, camping, backpacking, going out with friends, going out with other families. So, you know, you take this collective experience that Jamie and I have, and we have a lot to offer and we have a lot to share. And we've come across families who are just looking for some guidance in this. And so that's really why I'm here. Jamie asked me if I would help her in this endeavor. And I know that I would not have been here without all the help that I received along the way. And so this is sort of a giving back to the community, to the worldwide community. So I'm happy to just unzip myself, open myself up, and share really whatever tools that I have. And also I'm here to receive whatever sharings and tools you out there have. it's a constant process of learning, and learning how to be outside and be one with outside is one that I'm extremely passionate about. So grateful to be here. Thanks for inviting me, Jamie, and I'm so excited to be, to be working on this project with you.
Amazing. Yay.
Yay!
I just love listening to you speak.
Well, more to say.
Yeah. You know, yeah, it's interesting because Jarrett and I were talking before we started recording this, trying to sort of figure out what are we doing and why are we doing it and how is this going to help. And I just recently came from 2 different summits that I experienced online. One was about women in business and learning how to host summits, literally. But I really watched the mechanics of what was being done and how it was being done. And what I came to understand is that it's not going to work if you're not authentic. It's not going to work if you're trying to make something change. There's no point in us going out there and saying, hey, we can help because we're good at it, if nobody needs the help. But I am doing this because there's been a lot of families. Even today, I had a mama who I do behavior intervention with kiddos, and she comes to me. She's like, I know it's COVID, but can I just hug you because I can't believe you're taking my kid outside. I mean, I have a skilled person who's actually going to take my kid outside and make them not be scared of bears and cougars. And I was like, wow, I get to be that person. I get to like alleviate fears of the unknown in nature and build confidence and resilience in children. And that's actually one of my life missions, is just building resilience in children. And so, to be honest with you, I'm doing this for the children. The reason I'm pitching this to families and parents is because it's parents that are the ones that get to mentor and guide and lead these children into that place. And so maybe there's something I'm missing. Maybe there's, you know, even in our conversation, when Jarrett and I sort of get into a conversation about what we kind of want to do here, maybe there's something missing. And I would love to hear from anyone, even like around the world. Is there something that you would like for us to focus on in a summit, which is going to be, I think the plan so far is going to be like a quick check-in on the Friday evening with a little do at home, you know, head outside kind of experience in the evening. And then a Saturday morning, 3 to 4 hour experience with the Saturday afternoon time to really dive into deep nature connection and spend time outside. And then just like a 4-hour experience on the Sunday morning, just kind of wrapping up the bundle and really leaving you with tricks, tips, and tools on you know, what feels good and how you can move forward. And so one of the questions that that I'm really interested in is if you could give Jarrett, if you could give your top 3 tools of what you use when it comes to taking kids outside in a program, and also maybe taking your own kids outside, that really empowers and builds resilience in those kids so that it's easier for you.
Mm-hmm. That's a great question.
Yeah.
Looking at my tool pouch, I have hundreds of tools in there. I will just talk about 3 and maybe even 4 and 5, but the top 3, I would say the number 1 is to do a proper site assessment, to know where you're going, to be aware of the risks and the hazards. Venturing off into nature, it's a very romantic idea, you know, going out for a hike in the forest, going out to the beach, going for a swim, climbing a mountain. It's all very romantic, and it's joyful and playful, and it's wonderful, and it's all great. But to really make that experience as great as it can be, it's good to know where you're going, and it's good to have a really good understanding of the lay of the land and all of the risks and the hazards that are involved. So when we run programming, this I'm just speaking from a program perspective right now, site assessment, risk assessment, hazard assessment, those are And that's all grouped up in one tool right there. That's first and foremost to ensure that we're going to be offering a safe and comfortable experience for the children that are enrolled in our program. Similarly, I do the same with my own family. I do my own site assessments. I'm kind of always on alert and site assessing, as I travel into new spaces, because I go on backpacking trips and hiking trips that I've never been to before. And I'll do some background research and of course let family members or friends know where I'm going. And so really taking into consideration all of the safety protocols that go into having a successful outdoor experience. And it's an awareness piece. It's like here on Vancouver Island, we live with bears. And so I'm not going to enter the forest because of a fear of bears. I'm going to enter the forest with the awareness that bears are there. So it's an awareness piece. Similarly, in today's time with COVID-19, we're going to continue running program with an awareness that COVID-19 is here, but we're not going to be afraid of it and not run programming. So, and that kind of ties into this summit that we're offering is we want to spread this awareness so that it takes away the fearful layer of experiencing the true joys of outdoor experiences, and it replaces it with an awareness piece. So you feel equipped and you feel ready, and you feel confident. It's feeling confident and comfortable in entering these natural spaces. That's what really takes you to the next level, to get deeper and further and wider into those experiences. So site assessment, that's a number one tool. Again, from a program level, nature educators, like top-notch quality nature educators, make all the difference in the world. You can have the most incredible site, the most incredible location. There can be waterfalls and rainbows and all the rest. But if you don't have the right teachers in place, I truly believe that all successful programs in schools, all that success is attributed to the teachers. You can have really not the greatest location in the world, but if you have a rock star educator, they're going to make that nature program amazing. So,
can I just add to that?
Yeah, please.
So there's something about having a rock star educator, and I've worked with so many outdoor educators, and the one pivotal shift in my awareness was with this young girl. Her name was Laurel. I just adored her. She was my camp counselor, volunteer camp counselor for, I think it was 2 summers. And then when it was time to do some hiring, she had applied for the new guide position. So this is cave guiding, canoe guiding, rock rappelling, wilderness survival training, and camping in teepees for the summer. So really more intensive, higher risk activities. And I had many applicants, and she had no training at all, but volunteered. So she had a little bit of experience and was quite a timid but beautifully smiley human, totally willing to learn, versus the person I could have flown in from Ontario with a degree in it, with this many certifications. And I chose the one who was willing to be coachable, because in my programming experience, what I've noticed, and maybe you have a similar thing, Jarrett, is that if you find someone who's willing to learn and do the work and do it the way that needs to be done, it's more valuable than somebody who's got the book knowledge of it and the training in a canoe. So for example, she took the canoe guides training, the BC certifying guides training with us at the lake. I watched her training. It was amazing. She did a great job. But then when you actually get that group of youth that in that circumstance, none of them spoke English and they don't even know what a paddle is. And we get out there and you have to wrangle these new humans for a short amount of time in an experience. In that guide scenario, she was not ready. And so we ended up spending a bit of extra time coaching her on those moments of how do you ride a canoe by yourself? How do you call to action? This has to stop because this is an emergency. You need to stop. How do you assert yourself? And that kind of quality educators, quality outdoor facilitators you know, like it doesn't have to be all book smart and have a degree in outdoor education. It's actually common sense, which comes from experience, that then to me is where my most qualified guides have been when I bring them in. Is that the case for you?
Oh, well, thanks for saying that. And that actually is a perfect segue into my third tool, which is passion. Because I think that's exactly what you're speaking to. You know, yeah, you can have an exceptional educator who's done tons of training and has lots of experience in the field, is read up on all the outdoor learning books that are out there. But oftentimes, the person without the experience and the training, but who has that passion and who truly understands the connectivity piece between children and nature, that's the one that really, that's the rock star educator that I'm talking about. And those are the type of educators that we have hired, in addition to other educators who have the degree and all the rest. But I do feel like if you put it on the scale, the degree is equally valuable as the passion. We have some incredibly passionate educators that they believe in the work. They truly believe in the work. They get up every morning and they're excited to get out, whether it's sun, rain, snow, and be with those children and take them through that nature experience, because they believe in it so wholeheartedly. And so a third tool, which might even be the first tool, is to have that passion, to have that drive. You know, we all hear about the champions that make these programs successful, and you know, the characteristic of a champion is to be passionate about what it is that they're successful in.
Yeah.
And you know, without that passion, if that longing or that urge to go outside with your family or by yourself or with friends isn't there, it can be a struggle. I mean, you can learn to get that passionate piece, and you can fall in love with the experience from just dragging yourself out there and having an aha moment. But that passion is really that's one of the key tools that sets you out into an experience and having fun and adventure.
And losing your radio in the pit toilet and figuring out how to solve that problem.
Yes. Yes,
I mean, we've got a few stories like that.
That's a whole nother summit, Jamie.
Right? How to get a radio out of the pit toilet. I don't even know why I said that.
And then, you know, I'm just going to speak quickly on some other tools. You know, there is the motto in the outdoor learning world that there's no such thing as bad weather, only bad clothing choices. That's something that we live by. And I mean, that really is an essential tool. And that's part of also site assessment. You know, there's site assessment, but there's also personal assessment to assess your own personal and what's your abilities and what's your comfort level with taking risks, and how are you prepared? How are you geared up? What do you have in your backpack? You know, how are you prepared for not only the challenge at hand, but for all of the unknown challenges that can happen? And so just being prepared and ready, and having your own set of gear and supplies with you at all times for each one of your different adventures.
Yeah, the literal toolkit. Like you and I both, we've got these honking huge backpacks, right? Like we all, you know, anybody that's an outdoor educator, we pack a comfy backpack for a reason, because it's loaded full of stuff. And it's not, you know, I refer to some people in my life as gearheads, because they have a lot of like the fancy type of gear, but it's actually a necessity to have, you know, functional gear that you can trust, and you know where it is and you know what it's used for. Like, when was the last time you opened up your first aid kit and actually checked to see if you still have any band-aids left? You know, like what are some of the tricks? Because it's amazing how many people have a first aid kit but they've never opened it, because it just came that way, and they didn't realize that duct tape would be a really useful tool out in the field.
Yeah, so all those safety tools, those the ones that are in and outside the backpack are, that is an essential tool. I would never step foot in the forest without my 10 essential tools that I always have in a backpack.
Yeah. Awesome. Are you done with that? Are you feeling complete?
I'm feeling complete, yeah. Period. I just,
Period. So good. Yay. So yeah, I really am curious if people knew about those sort of tools, and I'm curious if that's enough, like, I just want to sort of take this on to the next question is, is what we have to offer what the world needs, and is this summit something that the world needs? So Jared and I were just brainstorming, what exactly are we doing in sharing our skills with people? And so if I were to dig a little bit deeper about what those top 3-4 tools that you mentioned, if we impart that information on people around the world, are they going to be satiated and feel complete? And my very first instinct is, this has nothing to do with the items, the tools that, anyone could actually follow through on getting a first aid kit and really making sure they know what's in it. If they had the desire, it's not even a passion, it's a desire. I actually want to get outside. I actually have a need, it's a requirement of my daily activity to be outside. And that's what I have, because I was raised with that. I feel very blessed that I was raised with that. And so if people are gonna come to a summit, I would imagine we have like a whole spectrum of life experience, some that have never been outside, some that really want to go outside, but they're really scared because they're terrified of dirt or bugs or getting stung or any of that kind of thing, to people who physically live in territories where even the weather can kill them. You know what I mean? Like, I just want to brainstorm for a minute, like, what is possible in terms of what we're about to offer, and is it going to be useful? Like, yeah.
well, as I was listening to you, Jamie, it's very reminiscent of when I work with teachers who work in a public or a private school in an inside space. They have that desire to go outside. They have that desire to take their classroom outside, their students outside, and to have that outdoor learning piece. And yet they don't. And so why don't they? What are the reasons? And I would say 99% of those teachers who have that desire, they just don't feel comfortable doing it.
Why?
And well, that's the question. Why don't they feel comfortable? And, we can ask that and kind of generalize, why don't we feel comfortable doing anything? Probably the number one reason is because we've never done it before, right? So you're either in your panic zone, or it's just you don't have any experience with it. So you just sort of romanticize and you have this vision of what it may look and feel like, but without actually taking your body into that experience and living it, you become anxious, and that anxiety often takes over, and then you don't go outside. But you still have that desire.
Yeah, and so maybe a piece of like the fear of the unknown. And if you don't have the knowing in yourself and trust yourself, and your body says yes to whatever that outdoor experience might be, just for your taking yourself outside, then how can you even possibly take a group of kids outside?
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Yeah.
So whenever I present to teachers, I always talk about the graduated process of taking risks. Yeah. So, let's say it's the fall time here on Vancouver Island. They want to walk their children on a field trip to a local creek or a stream and see the salmon spawning. Mm-hmm. Like, what a wonderful experience that would be. Like, so many outdoor learning outcomes. Like, you can tie it into the British Columbia curriculum in so many ways, or not. It can just be seeing the salmon spawning. Yeah. But to get there can be high anxiety for a lot of teachers. And then just relating it back to families, a family may, a parent or a guardian may want to take their family to see the salmon spawning. They've heard about it. A friend talked about it. They watched a documentary on it. Now they want to experience it, but they don't know how to do it. They've never done it before. Right. And so the graduated process is have that as, let's say, your third and final goal. Yeah. And then step it back have a second goal midway, and have a first goal, just getting yourself to the trailhead, and just take those small steps to get yourself familiar with the site and doing your site assessment, taking it around, smelling, feeling where you are, and then always taking it one step further and expanding your comfort zone.
Okay, you just uncovered something for me that I realized I haven't talked about since I did my thesis. When I did my thesis, because I was going to capsize the canoes of every teacher that was going to come on this grand quest of me tipping the perception of teachers. That was my idea. It's going to take 8 to 10 teachers and just capsize all their canoes on them.
That was a good pun, by the way.
Yeah. And so I thought, okay, maybe that's a bit extreme, and they wouldn't let me when I was proposing the idea. But what I was trying to uncover is that why are there always the same teachers that are the ones that take them to the more extreme outdoor places? Because they're comfortable. Okay, why are they comfortable? Well, they've lived that experience. They believe in themselves. They've surrounded themselves with things. But there's another component to this that I really hit home in my thesis that I really wanted to pay attention to is the facilitation style of the adult upon the experience with the kids. So I have this thing that I do, and I teach archery. So that's putting a weapon in a child's hand and calling it fun. And when they first arrive, I have a bunch of kids, I know not what their skills are, and I'm about to put an arrow in their hand within an hour. And my practice is all the parents are standing there, and I say, okay, this is a very serious, experience. And if anybody makes any mistakes or very, intentionally does something wrong, they'll be asked to leave. You'll be able to come back again the next time, but this is a serious activity. So I need to trust that you're going to make good decisions with me. And if anybody has any concerns, come and talk to me. So that's what I say with the parents. Then the parents leave. And I say, okay, friends, I didn't want to embarrass you in front of your parents, but I need to tell you something. I'm about to put a weapon in your hands. And they're like, oh, right, yeah, okay. And there's this experience that happens when you hold the bow and you put the arrow on it. As soon as it has touched with the string, you now could severely injure someone, and you're not even like pulling, you're just setting it on the string. And this is what happens, is that somebody will distract you and you'll go, what? And you'll turn it because that's what your body does, and you're distracted, and now your set bow with the string, with the arrow on it, is pointed directly at me usually, because I'm the one that's sitting there teaching and I'm close enough to them. And I said, that can only happen once, and I will catch you while you're doing it because I am a hawk when I'm watching what's happening. I don't give 3 strikes. You make a mistake like that, you go home. You are not allowed to make those mistakes here. I have been doing this kind of programming for 20 years, and that's how I set the stage. I don't do it from a place of I don't trust you, I don't whatever. I lay a boundary of like my voice changes and I get serious with them and I look them in the eye. And if they're fooling around, I say, I'm noticing now you actually don't want to do archery because it seems like you're not listening to the most important rule right now. And they'll be like, okay. And I feel like a drill sergeant in that moment, but I get to do some of the most extreme outdoor adventures, rock rappelling, caving, canoeing, camping, like building fires, all this sort of stuff, because right off the bat, I have created trust with them because they know where the line is. I've watched so many teachers come in and I'm about to take them to play the most epic game of canoe soccer they've ever had. And that teacher has not set any boundaries with the kids, and they're doing things that the teacher saying, stop doing that, don't get me wet, don't get those other kids wet. And it's this very interesting approach, because that teacher is coming from a place of fear, and then you get the other end of the spectrum where it's the totally gung-ho, rah, we're gonna do this, I'm gonna beat you, rah, 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 and then they create an unsafe scenario because now they're too far away. And I have this like dynamic of different facilitation styles that do not cater to a clear boundary being set with the children so you can unleash the most epic adventure that makes them want to honor and respect you as a leader. So that's a nugget that just came out right now that I'm just like, right, this is, it's not about the, I mean, it is about the gear and feeling good and all your tools and that passion, but there's something about creating a sense of trust in yourself as the facilitator, that when you set a hard line, you're not being a jerk. You're actually giving them comfort and trust and somewhere to show up to fully. Yeah.
Yeah, well, thanks for sharing that. You know, that trust piece, that respect piece, that bordering piece, that's another tool.
Mm-hmm.
That's what sets up safe and comfortable outdoor learning experiences and nature excursions. You made me just reflect on, before we take anyone out into the forest on a program level, and even for my own family, and even when I go out with my friends, there has to be that level of respect and trust. And
Mm-hmm.
we establish that every day through team building activities and icebreakers, where we have group cooperative activities where we get to know each other and communicate with one another and build that sense of community and respect and trust. Because if we're not able to do it in the open field of a schoolyard or a rec facility, or even in our backyard, you know, I don't want to be faced with having to try to instill those characteristics and those qualities in the forest or on the beach or on top of a mountain when there's a bear, or when it's raining, or when there's a bear and it's raining and someone has to go to the washroom, you know, like that's an essential piece to, and I think that's an essential piece in adventuring anywhere, whether it's at a natural environment or in a city or a town. I mean, you know, you have to have that sense of camaraderie and community and that sense of team if you're all going to experience that adventure as one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's so good. We got so much to offer this world.
And we're just giving it all back. This is all offerings that came to us from the world. It's really nice to have learned these lessons, gain this knowledge and experience and wisdom, and be able to do something with it, you know, not only at a local level, but at a global level.
Yeah.
Because we realize that this is a concern all around our planet. People want to be experiencing the outdoors more these days, now more than ever.
Yeah.
And we're eager to help, as I'm sure you can sense.
Yeah, I think this is a good place to sort of finish off, and really let's just put it out there that this is intended to really support people and build a sense of self-trust, and I like referring to it as common sense, like collective common sense. That common sense is not common unless you generate experience. So what can we do to support people to gain their experience with mentors and other community members that are willing to offer support and service and share and tools and make recommendations? So I think that's kind of, you know, the essence of this Guide to Outside Summit. And I just want to share real quick, because I know we're running out of time here. I'm going to share my screen so people can see the website that we're sort of playing with. So it's called Guide2Outside.org. And when you arrive onto this page, whether you're somebody who wants to contribute to this, to the summit yourself, or you just want to attend, click the register for the summit and just let us know, you know, why you want to connect. And just making a call out to a couple of different contributing type people. Maybe if you have tricks and tools to support at the COVID level understanding, like the restrictions around COVID, maybe it's around gear, maybe it's around Vancouver Island Health Authority, maybe it's in the school systems and how to run programs for groups of kids. Maybe it's about insurance. Like a lot of people have a big fear of being sued because somebody's child has gotten injured, and how do you do a lot of that hazard assessment and risk assessment and preventative work. And then, as we slowly start to bring people in, we'll be adding to this page that just sort of acknowledges those people that want to share their story and really create an opportunity for people to level up when it comes to, I guess you would call it, take more risk in being outside. So do you have anything else you want to share before we sign off, Jarrett?
I think that was a perfect closing, Jamie. That was wonderful. Thanks for taking us through that through the website. And if anyone out there has any questions or concerns about anything we talked about today, or if this shot off on another tangent that you want to address, please get in touch with us. We're, as I said, and as Jamie has echoed, we're here and eager to help. This is why we've come together. And without you reaching out to us, this is just a conversation that Jamie and I are going to continue to have on our own. So we want this to grow and extend this out to all people of all communities. So we welcome you to be a part of the conversation, and we would just love to see where this goes with your help and support.
And with that, we are complete. We wish you all a lovely day, and please feel welcome to share any of the posts that you see on social media. It's going to be coming through 2 different platforms in my world. It's called A Little Bird Story Productions, as well as Wildcraft Play. And Jarrett, you're going to be sharing through Hand in Hand Nature Education. Lovely. Well, let's spread the word and see who shows up. Okay. Bye, everyone.
Bye, everyone. Thank you, forest friends. Bye, Jamie.